Hey guys, I'm Russ,
And I'm Angie.
and I'm a recovering addict to pornography, masturbation, and other sexual behaviors.
And as his wife and support person, I'm here to help those who have been affected by pornography use and to help you find hope and healing in your life.
Thanks for joining us. Today we are going to talk about a safe smartphone and safeguarding your kids from pornography use. With today's technology, it's real easy to find pornography on devices, on your cell phones, iPads, tablets, computers. And I know a lot of addicts will jump to getting rid of their smartphone, going to an old school brick phone or something. We actually have smartphones, we both do. And we just change settings and safeguard them so that I cannot access inappropriate material and I cannot access Angie's phone or devices without her knowing why or putting in the password, giving me access to them.
So we find that having a safe smartphone is easier and actually safer than just going to an old school brick phone, like Russ said. Because of the advances in technology, there's a lot of ways that you can block it and restrict things, and as a support person to be able to help manage things.
The reasons I prefer a smartphone is, of course, it's a smartphone. I can access my emails and driving directions and all the other apps that I have on it, and still enjoy the use of a smartphone without the ability to access materials or really even without the temptation to access inappropriate materials.
I feel like with having a safe smartphone, we can actually set restrictions and boundaries on his phone. And then, of course, it's just having a safe smartphone, you can always set restrictions on the internet use and things like that, as opposed to an older phone. I wouldn't even really say a dummy phone. And so then if you just simply downgraded your phone, then you're still able to access internet and things like that. It's just not in a very smart, safe way. Does that make sense?
Downgrade your phone, you're downgrading your settings and restrictions capabilities.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we are going to show you how to set an iPhone. Again, we're iPhone users. I'm sure Android phones have very similar capabilities and settings. You'll just have to Google it or ask somebody else. Maybe we should probably done that, some research on how to lock and protect an Android phone. So if you have an iPhone, keep watching. We'll show you how to protect the settings.
If you don't have an iPhone, you should still keep watching.
Keep
and
watching,
maybe try
yeah.
to see if you can figure out like similarities between an iPhone and an Android phone.
Yeah,
See if you can figure it out, and if not, then we'll work on getting an Android expert to help us.
Or
figure out
comment
how to
below.
do that.
Let us know if you know a way of changing the settings in an Android phone. Comment below so others can follow along or use those directions.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to start by just going to settings, and then, I don't know why it starts in the middle. Anyways, going into general, and then restrictions. I turned them off for the purpose of this video, but I'm going to show you guys how to do it all. So you're going to want to enable restrictions and do a password. I'm just going to do 0000 for now. Since this is just a demo, that is not what my real password is. So here you can do anything from turn Safari off, to like disable FaceTime, all kinds of settings in here. If you have a problem with someone, buying a lot of things from the iTunes store, you can turn that off. So, yeah, lots of stuff here. We're just going to start.
Yeah, scroll back up. Let's start from the beginning. Basically how my phone is set up.
Yeah, so this is, about how Russell's phone is set up. So we have Safari turned off.
That's correct. I don't have access to internet at all on my phone.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then we also turned off deleting apps. So he's able to install apps, and I guess that gives him a little bit more of a free agency there. But if he does install something that is inappropriate, like, he can't delete it. And so basically, either he comes clean with me or I'll figure it out. Where is it?
You want apps.
Yeah, okay. So you could also do by ages. So I think, do we have it for?
No, for my phone, it's 17 plus because there are a lot of apps that I use. Even like, I think Google Maps is rated 17 plus. Or,
okay.
There are some generally clean, okay apps that are rated above 17.
But obviously,
we've tried it with only up to this setting, 12 plus, and then I started noticing that apps I needed were not on there, and I realized we had to figure out why they weren't there, and so it came to this part here, and so we don't really limit our rating.
but obviously, if you do have a child or someone that you're trying to safe proof, then pick the age appropriately. I think we also have the explicit turned off, just for any kind of music or news. If you do have movies on the phone or movies that they watch, you can control that as well. Same with all this other kind of media. For websites, we do have on Russell's phone specific websites only. So you can do limit adult content, and then you can do always allow or never allow. Or like I said, for him, we have specific websites only. And then on here, you add a website.
Well, first of all these websites here are just kind of general.
Oh, yeah, so that's already been.
Yeah, that Apple has approved, basically.
Yeah. So if you don't want something on here, you can just delete it. Yeah. Anyways. Or like here, allow a website, like let's say, I don't know, abc.com or whatever. Like if there's something that, it doesn't really matter for us because he doesn't have Safari. But anyways, those are your options for that. One of the things that I did do is, where's the never allow?
That's under this section.
Okay. Put never allow on here. We did Google.com, Craigslist,
or any other adult sites, not just Google, but Yahoo.
Yeah.
Should also be MSN, AOL, any other browsers, Firefox.
And the reason why we did that is because there are some apps that you can still access browsers.
Which we'll show you later.
Yeah, we'll show you later how that happens. But anyway, so let's do never allow, Google.com, and then it's on here. Always allow, I don't know, whatever. So then here again, location services. I think we have don't allow location changes on yours, right? And this way, if he's trying to escape, he can't.
I can't turn my location off so she can't find me if I happen to be tempted to go somewhere I shouldn't be or something like that.
Yeah. We also have what?
Just look at, is it share my location? That one is on.
Here, accounts. We have don't allow account changes.
For the purpose of not creating or accessing
like new emails.
Hidden, any hidden accounts your addict may have or tried creating. It prevents that.
We don't use the Game Center, but you could probably turn all those off. And then also, guys, when doing this, be sure that this is something that you do with your spouse, because,
they got to be more understanding and
you shouldn't just be doing it to block their stuff and be, bitter about it or mean about it.
It's also their recovery.
So
if they're serious about the recovery, they're going to want to take a step like this to stay away from.
Obviously, don't let them see the password, but So again, in order to access the restrictions, you have to put in the password. But I would recommend that you do it together. Just don't let them have the password. But that way, there's no miscommunications going on. Anyway, so I'm going to go into our homepage now.
And then, real quick to show you, so if we go into Google Maps, we can go here in Salt Lake, the planetarium. One way around access a website without a browser would be something like this, and you click on it.
And it won't be able to let you go in.
Boom, there it is. So even just the planetarium website is restricted. If they really need to access it, they can bring this to you and allow website. And then you'll have to enter your password for this, which for demonstration purposes is 0000.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can see it's an OK website. So request desktop site, maybe see if that works. Same thing, it looks like. There's no way of... Oh, that's right. Okay, so I get what you're saying.
Actually, that was just through like the
other thing. So say you wanted to allow this website. There, you can see here that there is no way to go to other websites, such as Google, to start searching for something else. It's specific to this website alone. Now, if it did lead to something like here, you can try Facebook. Click on the little link to go to Facebook, and Facebook is blocked, so you cannot access Facebook that way. And so far that has worked with every way that we've been able to try. Even if we tried...
I think this should be another way for him to...
Google Maps, try...
See, Google.com is blocked. So this used to be another way for us to access inappropriate stuff. Even if he didn't have Safaris, he would just click into it, and normally this would bring you up to Google.com, and you were able to access other things just through the inside of this app.
Yeah, you can start browsing anything, start searching for whatever.
And there is one thing that you need to be careful with, is that there are a lot of apps that have their own browser. I know Pinterest is another one of them. And so you just have to be careful with what you're allowing.
So that is about all we have for setting the phones to make them safe. Really, now it just comes down to managing the apps that you have on your phone and don't have. Now, right now, like we said, we showed you how to set the settings up so where it's on download or install. So I can install a new app if I need to. Now, if I have apps that I want to get rid of, I have to have Angie go in there and change it. You can see now as it jitters, there should be the little X on top to delete the app. It's not there. You can't delete an app. So if I happen to download, because there was no age restriction to it. Yeah, so if there was an app that I downloaded that was inappropriate or something I shouldn't have, say we didn't want to have Instagram, then I decided to download it. She would see that I had downloaded Instagram, and then we can have a discussion about that. But now if there's an app I needed to delete because it's not what I wanted or I just got tired of it, we go back in, she puts in her password, and we'll switch that.
Usually I turn on deleting apps, but I turn off installing apps so that if he has access to one, he doesn't have access to the other. So he can delete stuff, but he's not able to download anything new, and that way nothing gets bypassed.
Yeah, the App Store application actually disappears, just like Safari did, where I cannot even go in to access anything. And normally before switching those two settings, she'll look through my apps real quick, just to see what is new and why I want to delete them, to make sure I'm not hiding anything. But yeah, so... And then normally I found that it's easier. Your apps won't update unless you have installing apps as your general settings. So I'll usually just go in, delete what I need to real quick, and then have her set these back to installing apps. So that way my apps will update as needed.
And then guys, like we mentioned in our boundaries video, we do have restrictions on all of our devices. It's not just his. So I do have restrictions on mine. Obviously, I'm the only one that knows any kind of access codes to any of those devices. And that includes my like phone password, just so that he can't even get into my phone. But I have access to all of his stuff. And that is just because as a support person, I need to know that kind of information.
Yes. And in no way are these settings meant to feel like you're being controlled or your freedoms are being taken away or anything like that. The reason we use these is because it helps me to work on my recovery. You need to establish sobriety and recovery time before you gradually get more access back and are really trusted with that access to be able to use it appropriately and correctly, safely.
And like Russ said, it's not supposed to be a controlling type of thing. This has been in the past, I guess, sort of a mindset of control. But I think with setting boundaries and with having the open communication and actually the mindset that he is in now, to where he knows that he needs recovery and it's not just something that he's being forced to do, that obviously helps a lot too.
If you don't happen to have a spouse or a spouse that is willing to take on these responsibilities, then be sure to turn to a parent, a friend, and a
sponsor.
an ecclesiastical leader, a therapist, professional, therapy help, or of course your sponsor or somebody else in your support team.
All right, guys, and then as we mentioned, this is something that we do for him as the addict. But this is also something that you should be doing with all of your devices, especially devices that your children might have. And that goes into how we, I guess, safeguard our children and talk to our children about pornography use. All right, so we feel that it is very important to start talking to your children about pornography and pornography use and the dangers of pornography as early as you can. I think a lot of that kind of just comes with talking to your children about privates and calling private parts by their anatomically correct name. And so our children are 4 years old and a year and a half. We started talking to our oldest about pornography, private parts, all that information when he was just about 18 months or 2 years old. I think, like as we were potty training him and kind of wanting to know what that thing was dangling between his legs and wondering, starting to ask questions. We took that opportunity to also be like, this is your penis. That is what it's called. This is,
These are your private parts.
Yep.
You don't touch anyone else's and don't let others touch yours.
With the exception of if you are needing help in the potty or a doctor. And we do, re-emphasize that.
Doctor with a parent around.
Yep, doctor with a parent around. And then we do have some tools that we use often in our home to kind of remind us of that. So,
Books
that are age appropriate. This first book is called I Said No. This one's not specific to pornography, but it is very much a guide for keeping private parts private. So just a quick example in this book is they talk about green flag people, red flag people, and kind of the difference between those. A lot of different things that, if you feel this way, then, it's a red flag, or if you feel this way, it's a green flag. This was written by a mom and a child who was sexually abused. And so it is very much a kid-to-kid guide of how to hopefully prevent something like that from happening. People you can trust, things like that.
Just to get them to be mindful that they can come to us with anything that they feel bad about. Again, that's how I got started in my first exposure to pornography, is when I found magazines that, adult magazines. I felt ashamed and wanted to hide it. I knew it was wrong and I didn't feel comfortable going to anybody.
So, obviously this one talks more about just the privates and stuff like that. It talks about what private parts are, And we do feel like talking to your children about pornography and privates kind of go hand in hand a lot. All right, and then we do have 2 books that we like for educating children about pornography use. We have this one, which is the original. This is, yes, right here.
I was moving it down. Get out of your way.
Good Pictures, Bad Pictures. This is more for children that are, I think, about 7 to... Older. Yeah, 7 to 11, 12, whatever years old. And then a few years ago, they came out with Good Pictures, Bad Pictures Junior version. And this is more for kids between 2 to 7 years old. So it's supposed to be, introduced before this book does. Obviously, the junior version has a lot more drawings, pictures. It's a better way to grab children's attention. Whereas the older version is just a lot more reading and text. Yeah. So
the same thing. These books cover private parts. Not letting others touch them. It goes in. It starts with what good pictures are. How we hang good pictures on our walls.
We see good pictures everywhere.
Good pictures.
Yeah. And then it also talks about how everywhere that you see good pictures, you can also see bad pictures. Like phones, tablets, billboards, which is a good way for kids to, kind of recognize that. One thing that I do also like about the junior version is that there is kind of like a little hidden game in there for the kids to play, just where you're supposed to find these little cameras in every single page. And that also kind of keeps it interesting for little kids. Like I said, we introduced this to my son when he was about 2 years old. So it keeps his attention. And here it is comparing bad pictures to poison for your brain. And body. And so it's very age appropriate for children. What I also like about this book is that it has an action plan. So it says, if you do see bad pictures, here's what you can do. You can turn your face away, you can run, and you can tell somebody that you trust. Yep.
Turn, run, tell.
And so we practice that every time that we read this in our home. We practice, turning your head, run, and go tell somebody. And it's just a good action plan for children to have from the very beginning.
And again, it just reinforces that her can come to us, mom, dad, adults.
Trusted adults, yeah.
Trusted adults to tell when they see bad pictures. Not be ashamed about what they find or what somebody else might show them. Because not everything starts with in the home. It could be somebody else's home, outside, at school.
Yeah.
After school programs where, again, technology is so easy. Kids have phones at like 6 years old now. So.
And actually, startling statistics are that a first exposure to pornography is 6 years old now. The average age for a pornography exposure is 6 years old, guys. That is so young. And it's really sad. It really is. One of the things that I will mention in this book that I do like also is that it talks about how if you view a bad picture, that does not make you a bad kid. And I think that is very important to emphasize with children.
So again, those books are I Said No by Zach and Kimberly King. And then The Good Pictures, Bad Pictures, both of them by Kristen Jensen.
And we just found these books on Amazon. I'm sure you could find them at any kind of local bookstore as well.
We can have a link below to Amazon.
Yeah. Alright guys, and these books are not just a one-time use thing or any kind of tool like this. It's not just a one-time use thing. So just like you are, constantly aware and protecting your children from other day, things, just like don't touch that hot stove, don't put your finger in the electrical outlet. We do bring these kinds of things up on a daily basis as well. And we do these things in a non-shameful way as well. There is no reason to be sneaking around or hiding around, anatomically correct names for body parts. If Skylar asks, what makes a girl? Well, she has a vagina. So that's one difference between a male and a female. In daily practice, we remind our kids that it is not okay to be looking at other people's private parts or have anybody else look at theirs, regardless of, who it is, a family member, babysitter, anything like that. So some of my personal reasons for wanting to educate my children about pornography use, pornography addiction, their body parts and all that other stuff is just because of horrifying stories that you hear out there of children being sexually abused starting at very young ages, and the statistics that you can find online about the rate of abuse. So just more of like trying to help prevent anything from happening, as well as there is a rise of child-on-child sexual abuse, and I feel like a lot of that comes from pornography. I mean, if children are exposed to these pornographic images at such a young age and they think that that is okay, why wouldn't they want to practice that or try that out on somebody else? And so it is very alarming, and education is key.
Well, guys, that's the end of this video. Thank you for watching, and we hope you've learned something new and can implement some of these things that we've talked about in your smartphone.
If you guys do have any more questions for us, please don't hesitate to comment down below or send us an email. Everything will be down in the description box below, as well as links for the books that we talked about. So yeah, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and share the video. Thank you guys so much. We love you, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
That looks weird. That hand cut me from down here. Bye.